clear is that the authorities have not yet determined how she died, and that is going to be a critical component. Was it foul play or some other cause?
It's a little weird to see a car that I haven't seen here for a long time. Had a big dent on it, had a Texas plate on it.
The evidence isn't just piling up, it's detonating. District Attorney Burke, known to his fervent Gen Z base as simply David, now finds himself at the center of a scandal that's sickening people from Hollywood to Houston. In the past week, outrage has reached a breaking point, not only because the dismembered remains of a 15-year-old were discovered in the front trunk of his abandoned Tesla, but because his inner circle is accused of knowing far more than they've admitted to the LAPD. Investigators have already seized devices from his Hollywood Hills rental, combing through digital trails, while the internet steps in where authorities seem reluctant, connecting threads that point again and again to Burke and his closest allies. This is no longer just one grotesque incident. It's the outline of a culture of silence and self-preservation. A circle of friends, moderators, and even managers who, according to growing whispers, allegedly scrubbed evidence, silenced dissenters, and shielded their golden boy as unthinkable horrors unfolded in plain sight.
A search warrant, which means they clearly were able to show a judge that there was probable cause to believe a crime was committed, but the police have been playing this really close to the vest.
We also don't know what David's cooperation has been with cops. We were told early on he was cooperating with cops. Now it seems kind of unclear, but it is kind of interesting because...
Well, he's not talking to cops.
September 8th, Hollywood Tow. The day LAPD says the call came in. A Tesla with Texas plates sat baking under the sun. The smell was so overpowering staff could barely pop the trunk. Inside, the unthinkable. Investigators describe a dismembered, badly decomposed body stuffed in a bag. A stolen shed key. No missing vehicle report. That same night, police raided Burke's Hollywood Hills home, seizing phones and hard drives. Still no arrest. The car had been left on a quiet Bird Streets block, where neighbors had noticed. It had a dent, Texas tags, people hanging around for a long time. One resident told ABC. Odd. Suspicious. And yet, there it sat, a chart-topping artist's Tesla, turned into a tomb, hidden in plain sight. The timeline only deepens the mystery. The victim, Celeste Rivas, reported missing in April 2024, just 13 years old, last seen in Lake Elsinore. Her face on flyers. A family in torment. The faint scar on her shoulder later confirmed the worst, along with dental records. Nearly a year she was gone, erased. And then, the cruelest twist. One day after what should have been her 15th birthday, her remains were discovered in Burke's Tesla. Tow yard workers who opened the trunk had to step outside for air. Neighbors remembered the car. Remembered it didn't belong. And as LAPD combed through Burke's home on Doheny Drive, carting out computers and hard drives, one thing was clear. They believe the answers are digital. And yet, weeks later, no charges.
Something else here, the fact that the body was dismembered, and I feel horrible saying this because you've got this beautiful girl on the screen who really should still be here, but her body was dismembered, and it seemed to be, the way they had described it, the medical examiner, very badly decomposed, which to me kind of indicated that it had been there for well over a month.
The outrage isn't just online, it's visceral. It's the kind of fury that erupts when people believe money, influence, and connections are tilting the scales right in front of them. How does a teenager disappear for over a year, only to be found in the car of a viral celebrity, and all the LAPD can say is that Burke is cooperating, while the case is still classified as a missing person investigation? Officials stress the burden of proof, warning against rushing charges. As one legal analyst told Good Morning America, without a confirmed cause and manner of death, there is no legal ground for an arrest. But for thousands following the case, that explanation rings hollow. Especially now, as emerging evidence hints at digital tampering and possible cover-ups, suggesting the story is far darker than authorities are willing to admit.
Her in my classroom, in front of this poster right here. She's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year. And then I found out yesterday that she's now...
If anyone still thought the internet was just a bystander, this case proves otherwise. While police worked to retrace Celeste's final days, the digital world became its own courtroom. On Burke's subreddit, users noticed something strange. Posts about the case, especially the critical ones, started vanishing. According to Fox 11, Burke himself was the only listed moderator. Then suddenly, the forum was locked down, deleted. Fans alleged Burke was scrubbing the heat in real time, a one-man PR cleanup. Over on Discord, one moderator publicly claimed they believed Celeste was around 18 or 19, despite her missing poster and documented age being public knowledge. Was it convenient amnesia or deliberate deflection? The same mod admitted contact with Burke's management was minimal, yet somehow entire threads and digital trails disappeared almost overnight. The pattern is impossible to ignore. Anyone close enough to know better seems to be deleting, excusing, or outright dismissing what's in plain sight. Mods, friends, managers, even insiders from the touring circuit whisper of other underage fans tied to Burke's orbit. Which leaves the question echoing louder each day: how much of this was willful blindness, and how much was active involvement?
Is investigating this case. They still have not said it's a...
Correct.
Meaning that
Well,
they don't know the cause of death. Obviously, yes, the body was dismembered and was, where the parts were in a bag that was in the Tesla, but they don't know.
Rumors have already escaped the bubble of fan forums and bled into industry circles. Former crew members, even a past road manager, have reportedly tipped off blogs about a private Los Angeles club Burke was said to frequent, a place where high-profile members look out for each other whenever the law gets too close. One since-deleted Twitter post claimed bluntly, "Everyone knew she was underage, and nobody wanted to be the one to stop it." No label executive has gone on record, but the Whisper Network is relentless. The survival playbook for a scandal this big is clear. Lock the phones, wipe the DMs, and keep management moving at lightning speed. And move they did. As the online backlash hit a boiling point, Burke's career began to unravel in real time. His final U.S. tour dates in San Francisco and Los Angeles quietly disappeared from Ticketmaster and venue sites. A sold-out Grammy Museum appearance? Erased, scrubbed from the calendar as if it was never booked. Interscope pushed back the release of his deluxe album. Crocs and Hollister, both with major campaigns in the pipeline, scrubbed his image from their socials within hours of the news breaking. This isn't just bad press, it's a controlled demolition. A slow-motion collapse where every bridge in Burke's career seems to be burning at once.
Began to start doing some sleuthing around David and very quickly found that David and Celeste actually had quite a history.
Meanwhile, the scramble to erase every physical trace is underway. After the police raid, Burke's manager, Josh Marshall, rushed to terminate their $20,000 a month Hollywood Hills lease. The homeowner told the Daily Mail he had no idea Burke was even living there until the night police came pounding on his door. Boxes were hauled out in a hurry. Electronics carted off. The house, once the hub of an influencer's empire, now sits hollow, a ghost address in a city built on secrets. The digital cleanup is being mirrored by a real-world disappearing act. No Instagram stories. No cryptic TikToks. Only the occasional viral clip of flickering lights or faint voices inside Burke's shuttered Hollywood home. Is he hiding inside, dodging the world? Or is it just loyalists keeping up appearances, delaying the inevitable for as long as possible?
Questions keep multiplying.
And with each passing day, it feels less like Burke is buying silence, and more like someone powerful is buying him time. At every turn, the sense lingers. Strings are being pulled to keep him out of handcuffs and out of headlines. The world waits for even one charge, one public statement. Meanwhile, LAPD grinds through evidence, fans tear apart digital crumbs, and insiders whisper of more victims, more secrets, and more buried connections than anyone dares admit aloud.
removed shows from his website, also forced to remove some creepy merchandise from his site. So for people who don't know, David was selling a line of button-down shirts with bloody handprints on them. And Lauren, this wasn't like a Halloween thing, right? It was because one of his biggest songs called Romantic Homicide.
The spotlight has shifted to the people orbiting Burke, the moderators, tour collaborators, and managers who once operated as faceless admins, roadies, and business partners. Now they're being dissected by the court of public opinion, and the verdict is turning ugly. What's emerging isn't just the secret of one musician, but the fortress built around him. A digital army that allegedly scrubbed mentions, deleted uncomfortable questions, and gaslit fans who raised alarms about Celeste. The narrative gaining traction now is chilling. Burke's career wasn't simply built on viral tracks and curated tour aesthetics. It thrived on a carefully engineered fandom. In the right Discord, on the right subreddit, at the right afterparty, insiders say Celeste's name was known. For everyone else, she was invisible, just another ghost hidden behind the glitter of tickets sold and crowds kept in the dark.
Like, there's no possible way this could be some kind of insane cover-up, and David would have some kind of personal connection to this situation or person. But then, upon the discovery of this body, we began to get more information that raised some very huge red flags. And
speculation has turned ruthless. Discord logs and archived chat screenshots are leaking into Telegram groups, each one pored over for names, timestamps, any hint of a wider pattern. Since at least 2022, anonymous posters claim Burke's inner circle tracked underage fans and silenced anyone who asked too many questions. Screenshots, some deleted, some preserved, allegedly show instructions for how favorites could be ushered into VIP spaces, or how moderators were told to age up users if parents started sniffing around. Are they authentic? Investigators are now combing through every byte. But the whiplash speed with which these leaks appear and vanish has only deepened suspicion. Behind the scenes, tips and DMs suggest that LAPD and even federal agents are working to verify a trove of images that reportedly show Burke with girls who appear disturbingly young. Some allegedly snapped at tour stops, others at private gatherings. This is no longer just a public scandal. It feels like a dam breaking, and what's rushing out looks far more toxic than anyone wanted to believe.
Interesting, he said she ran away in January, came back, and then ran away again, or at least disappeared again.
And that tracks with what we had seen as far as a missing children's poster that we saw. There was one earlier in the year, and then there was the one in...
Nothing in this story is happening in isolation. While Burke's label freezes his album and brands like Crocs and Hollister quietly pull ad buys, rumors swirl about the velvet ropes, still shielding him from real consequences. The most persistent theory? Burke's ties to a private Hollywood club. Its membership lists longer than Coachella's. Its code of silence stronger than any NDA. A former sound tech for a rival act, speaking anonymously to a blog, put it bluntly, you don't get that much access to talent without noticing who's around. Everybody knew. Even insiders who usually protect their own are breaking ranks. This isn't the first time someone in that circle skirted disaster, another tour manager told an indie podcast. But it's the most visible and the most grotesque. So, is this the price of protecting a brand, when the brands themselves are sprinting for the exits? Maybe that shield is finally cracking. Officially, Interscope has gone silent. But behind the scenes, the gossip is deafening. Tour dates across the US and Europe vanished from ticket sites overnight. Refunds processed. Contracts shredded with little more than a one-line notice. The Grammy Museum, which had spent weeks hyping Burke's appearance, scrubbed him from its calendar in a single evening. Whispers suggest some of Burke's managers tipped him off days before the LAPD raid, giving him time to move valuables and erase evidence before police arrived. Whether fact or internet fever dream, the speed of his collapse is staggering. And yet, even as fans mourn the implosion of their idol, the industry machine keeps moving. Executives are already eyeing new signings, new faces to fill the void. And if the rumors hold, Burke's own inner circle is being quietly gutted, loyal aides pushed out to make sure no one else gets caught in the fallout.
developments in the case involving the singer David and the girl who was found in the trunk of his Tesla. Notably, we broke a lot of stories yesterday, but one of the big ones was we were able to talk to a teacher who taught Celeste Rivas and had a lot.
We still don't know the cause or timing of Celeste's death, and every delay in the autopsy only feeds the next wave of conspiracy. The one certainty, the digital paper trail is expanding by the day. Authorities are sitting on an avalanche of seized phones and computers, each device a potential Pandora's box. One incriminating text, one buried photo, could send this case spiraling in an entirely new direction, not just for Burke, but for the entire circle around him. And if the leaked group chats are any indication, more than one person is already scrambling, deleting files, shifting locations, or quietly lawyering up.
That was before he was even charged. There were people who backed off and, didn't want to be associated, didn't want to answer any questions about him. That's what happens in showbiz when you suddenly are the focus of things like this. All those people who are your friends.
The shockwaves from Burke's downfall are rattling deeper than his career. They're exposing the machinery of fandom and celebrity in the social media age. What does it say about our world when thousands could watch, suspect, or even participate, yet no one acts until a body turns up in a trunk? Is this just the story of one musician's monstrous choices, or a brutal indictment of the algorithmic echo chambers that reward silence, worship, and blind loyalty above all else? Some music writers are already calling it the first true Gen Z scandal, a nightmare built for live streams and Discord DMs, where everyone is both spectator and, in some way, accomplice. We're not just watching Burke unravel. We're watching a system laid bare, a culture that allowed this to fester, where fans, staff, and executives looked the other way in exchange for a viral moment or a catchy hook.
I can't confirm that. I know that I know the reports they're talking about, and we've been trying to confirm that they have, but that would be expected. And there have been other artists who have taken down songs that they collaborated with David on, and they've removed them from some platforms just because they have seen what's going on. And until we know for certain, I think some artists will see David as kind of toxic.
The facts keep trickling out, and so do the rumors. Off the record, more than one industry veteran claims the LAPD isn't the only agency eyeing those seized hard drives. Sources say the FBI's Cybercrimes Division has quietly entered the picture, a move hinted at by two tech consultants who allege their contracts were abruptly pulled after the raid. Meanwhile, those closest to Burke are reportedly lawyering up, told to keep quiet until charges, if any, land. It's the classic Hollywood playbook: deny, delay, disappear, and wait for the world to move on. But the silence isn't holding. Each day brings another leak, new messages, fresh screenshots, whispered stories bleeding onto Twitter threads, private Reddits, and Telegram channels. And with every drop, the picture grows darker, each revelation more damning than the last.
Been following for nearly 2 weeks. Singer David has canceled the rest of his U.S. tour after a girl's body was found in the car of his car at a tow yard.
He was scheduled to perform tonight in San Francisco and tomorrow night here in Los Angeles. This comes as police investigate the death of a 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who was reported missing.
Even Burke's music, once a lifeline for millions, has turned toxic. Spotify and YouTube are flooded with negative comments as fans dissect old lyrics for hidden meanings and twist ambiguous lines into sinister foreshadowing. The We album, once hailed as his breakout, is now a cultural caution sign. And yet, in the corners of his fandom, the loyalists are doubling down, insisting it's all a smear campaign, cooked up by jealous rivals or opportunistic trolls. It's a cycle we've seen before, but rarely at this scale, and rarely with stakes this grave. So here we are, waiting for the next shoe to drop. A body dismembered in a Tesla. Devices seized, but sealed from the public. An entourage accused of silence, or worse. Leaked chats, missing photos, industry giants scrambling to erase their fingerprints. And through it all, whispers persist. More victims may still be out there, some too afraid to speak. others waiting for the right moment or the right headline to finally break their silence. Hovering above everything is the uncomfortable truth. Power and protection in Hollywood don't vanish overnight, even when the spotlight burns this hot. Which forces the question, if police can't or won't deliver answers, will the truth explode instead from a lost phone, a leaked DM, or the testimony of those who've stayed quiet too long? Is this the scandal that finally shatters the spell of celebrity protection? Or will it fade like so many others? No charges, no justice, just another archived headline? Tell us what you think. Is the Burke saga only just beginning? Or has the real story been hiding in plain sight all along? Drop your theories in the comments. Turn on notifications, because in this case, nobody knows what's coming next. Until then, stay curious, stay bold. And remember, sometimes the truth is darker than even the wildest rumor.